It is showtime here on Pigskin Nut Live. I am Steve Fishkin, Steve the Scout, joined by CJ Lurd and Zach Kleiss. This is the Pro Football Scouting Show. So, what this show is about is it's about breaking down what's going on in the NFL in terms of evaluating players, teams, and position groups. As we get closer to the NFL draft, we'll start to focus on college prospects because at that time, that's going to be the main thing that people are looking at in the scouting community. But this show is about evaluating all that. Today we have some interesting topics that we're going to talk about. So today we're going to talk specifically about quarterbacks. What's wrong with them? And when I say what's wrong, meaning why are they not having the success or perceived success that I think fans are hoping for? So we're going to talk about what's wrong with Dwayne Haskins, what's wrong with Daniel Jones, what's wrong with Ryan Fitzpatrick? What's wrong with Sam Darnold? We're also going to talk about how Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, and Tom Brady are still having some success out there. And also, we're going to talk about a QB that got my attention this week, Brett Rippon. We're going to show some of his tape, and we're going to talk about it. So that is today's show. We'll be back with you pretty soon. Let's get ready to roll. So that is today's show. It is showtime again, guys. We are here bringing back to you the Pro Football Scouting Show. Really excited about this because this show is actually how I got my start in football media. So a few years ago, about 3 years ago, started this podcast where I focused on evaluating NFL draft prospects, giving scouting reports. And that's really the main thing that the show was focused on. And I had some people that helped me. The podcast did very well. And I don't think I'm capable of doing this now because I think the algorithms, have actually changed over time. But there's a period of time where this podcast was the number one ranked sports podcast on all of America on the iTunes list. So, this is kind of what started me off. I'm excited about it. And today we're bringing you back this show. And what we're going to talk about is what's going on in the NFL in terms of evaluating players, teams, and position groups. We're going to talk about the glamour position today. We're going to talk about the quarterback because I think when you look at quarterback, people don't always necessarily understand why some guys are playing well and why some guys are not. Today we're gonna unpack that. We're gonna look at a number of different quarterbacks. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about what's wrong with different players. And we're going to start out by talking about Dwayne Haskins. And we're going to bring CJ on for that to really chime in mostly here. So CJ has his show, The Hog Side, which is right here on Pigskin Live, also available in video and other podcast form. So CJ, you've been watching Dwayne Haskins, for a number of weeks now. So let me just flat out ask you, just evaluating his physical tools and how he's playing the position, does he right now deserve to be the starting quarterback for this team?
To be honest, right now it's hard to say because, right now there isn't no other quarterback who is actually ready to start. But the thing is, we all see for the ones who actually looked at Dwayne Haskins, we all see the potential and the tools that he has. It's just the situation that he's in right now with the status of our offensive line and not being able to progress at the same status with that offensive line, and then just him, he's so unexperienced, and right now it's not looking good on his part. He at one point you see that he has the skill and potential, then at another point, he's looked like he's just completely inexperienced. And in this level of football, you either show that you can progress, or you know at some point you're going to get benched. And right now, this is where Ron Rivera is. I hate to say that, it's possible that he might get benched, but, right now he is on the hot seat. And, Ron Rivera said over the weekend after the devastating loss, against the Ravens, is that week 5, it is Dwayne Haskins' game, so that pretty much means that you have to make a statement to convincing Ron Rivera that he should keep you as the starter. If not, I'm not sure exactly where Ron Rivera will go, but right now the kid is on the hot seat. You got to be better, and right now he hasn't been progressing as Ron Rivera would like to.
Yeah. So we know Alex Smith. He is medically cleared, correct?
Right.
As I presume. So look, one thing that I think Alex Smith, is going to be able to beat him out in. Alex Smith, right now probably doesn't have Dwayne Haskins' arm strength. I don't know if he ever did, but in terms of accuracy and being able to develop chemistry with a receiver, that's where Alex Smith is going to have him beat. So if Alex Smith comes back right now, is this going to be a case where the Redskins' offensive line just hasn't been good enough, or throwing him right back into the fire?
Well, here's the thing that I was trying to explain to a lot of Washington fans. There's a difference between being medically cleared and actually being on the field. Like, you can be medically cleared to play, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're ready to play. Yes, Alex Smith has looked good in training camp as far as his movements and things like that. But it's just all about whether you're mentally, emotionally, and physically ready to be on the field every week. And just right now, as much as I like Alex Smith, I just don't think that he should be put inside of these games as quick as now, especially with the situation with the offensive line. Who knows? Maybe the offensive line will step up, with another quarterback. But that's not the risk that you want to take, especially with the likes of Alex Smith. If anything, I say you try out Kyle Allen, see how it works. See how the game flows. But I just don't want Washington fans to think that Alex Smith is the next guy up.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for that, CJ. I'll certainly be paying closer attention to him this week. I'll tell you this. For my time seeing Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State, I had a lot of reservations about him succeeding in the way the NFL works today, because Dwayne Haskins is really, much more so than other quarterbacks, really needs time to set his feet. Not saying he can't throw on the run, but if this guy needs the extra 1 or 2 seconds, he doesn't process slow, but he really needs to have a firm base and be able to sit in the pocket. If he can do that, he can throw accurately at all levels of the field. The thing that I saw is that when he's not protected, his accuracy is going to dip quite a bit. So thank you for that, CJ. We're going to have you back on in just a bit. We're going to talk about the QB this week that got my attention. We're going to take a look at some of his game film, and we're going to have you back on for that shortly. So we are going to bring on Zach now to talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Zach, so I think when you look at a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who's been a journeyman, who's been hot and cold a lot of his career, it just seems like obviously he's on a very short leash. He's played some good football as of recent, but in terms of the Miami Dolphins right now, in terms of how he's been playing. How did he play the other day? Do you feel that his play was worse, or is there more to it than meets the eye that we got to look at?
I would say so far, I mean, the play of Fitzpatrick is kind of that's how the Dolphins are going to win or lose is through Fitzpatrick. It sounds kind of cliche, but that's kind of how it's been. He had 2 picks to start the season, or 3 picks, sorry, and then had 2 straight games, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We were in him. We beat Jacksonville Thursday night because of his good play. He was making good reads, good throws. And then I feel like he kind of regressed against Seattle. Just had another, like you said, another hot cold. He went cold again. I feel like he didn't take enough shots. He wasn't doing what he did against Jacksonville and what actually kind of kept us in the game with Buffalo.
Was he more errant with his throws? Did you feel like was he not on that day from a throwing standpoint? Do you feel he just wasn't seeing the field well, or
I feel like he wasn't seeing the field well. I honestly feel like it was him just not seeing the field well. I feel like he wasn't even trying to go through his progressions. It was just, the first throw's not there, get rid of it. He wasn't taking his time. Obviously, again, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. In the games that we won, again, he was looking for Mike Gesicki. That was from what I can tell, his security blanket. And I think Gesicki had 1 target yesterday. Like, that was just gross.
Yeah. Well, in terms of right now, does Tua Tagovailoa, does he need to come in and start for this team, or is this premature? You got to also remember that we are in an NFL season. I know everyone thinks of the Miami Dolphins as rebuilding, but teams do want to make the playoffs.
I know.
Is this the time to put Tua in, or do we need to wait on that?
I'm so torn on it because I've been the guy since the start of the season. I wanted him to sit all year, but yet you see this team kind of making some progression, and the quarterback play is what's hurting. It's not the defense killing us. It's not the offensive line getting letting Fitz get sacked 20 times. Like, it's just Fitz not making good throws. Like, I'm almost to the point that I feel like it's almost Tua time. But Brian Flores today, he was kind of but he's going to meet with the guys tonight, and he's like, I expect Fitz to be the guy. But with that, I think we're getting there. I think in the next couple of weeks, I think you will see Tua taking the field.
All right. Good stuff. All right, Zach, we'll have you back in a bit to talk about the QB this week. Got my attention. So we're going to talk about some New York quarterbacks now. So we're going to take a look at what's wrong with Daniel Jones and what's wrong with Sam Darnold. And I'm going to tell you it's, pretty close because they're both big-bodied quarterbacks. They both have big-time arms. And, they do have big-time arms. I'm not going to say they're not Patrick Mahomes or not Josh Allen, but, they're big-time arms. Both guys are mobile. Both guys do a really good job of throwing on the run. And I think both guys are getting into bad habits. So specifically, you look at Daniel Jones yesterday, and this happens to a lot of quarterbacks when they're not protected, because if the running game is not going and the pass protection is not there, and it's all about them, you're going to always see that these guys are getting into bad habits, and it's tough because these guys don't have much NFL experience, and you're throwing them into the fire right away. And when I say fire, I'm talking about a situation where they need to almost do everything. And I think that is a big problem of what you're seeing in the development of both New York quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, decision-making has improved, but there's still a lot to be desired there. You see now that he's really locking on to his first target. He's not going through his progressions because he hasn't been in the habit of being able to go through them because he has to bail pretty quickly. But he's definitely, and it's not just this last game, but you can see he is staring down one receiver a lot. But when the short times he is protected in other games, which hasn't been much in his career, it's been minimal. You can see that he's a guy that can go through his progressions quickly. But right now, he's staring down one guy. He goes to his first read, and then it's and then by that time, the defense is already there. And I don't think he is going to develop. He's going to develop until they protect him. You've seen enough big time throws from Daniel Jones to know that the talent is there. The same thing with Sam Darnold, but he is not going to develop into a good quarterback. And I don't think the Giants are really going to know what they have in Daniel Jones until he can have a balanced offense. So, in speaking with Sam Darnold, decision making in terms of being the Achilles heel for Sam Darnold, that's still a big issue. You go back and you watch Darnold's tape at USC. Why did he have so many interceptions? It wasn't because of a lot of pressure. It was just bad decisions, and he is still making a lot of these bad decisions where he's throwing balls into double coverage where he shouldn't. This particular week, he had a shoulder injury, came back and still played. Talent-wise, Sam Darnold, I watched him play this week. He's still got it. He's fine. I think that if the Jets, and I don't think they're going to, if the Jets don't figure out how to put enough good around him, and I don't think the Adam Gase system, I'm just not a big fan of the system in general. This is going to be really tough for Sam Darnold. We were talking earlier in our pigskin nut chat, and I said, put Sam Darnold on the Colts, and I guarantee he'll have success because this guy coming out of college, great anticipation. He's accurate, big time arm. He's a magician with what he can do in terms of extending plays. Yeah, he had that big 40+ yard run, but it's really his ability to extend plays. But these Jets wide receivers, they're just not getting open, getting separation. I think losing Robbie Anderson has really hurt him a lot. I said it before the season. I think Robbie Anderson is probably a 1B wide receiver. He's just that good, and it's been tough for him. So unfortunately, you don't know what you're going to get with these guys until you give them a chance. You take a look at a guy like Baker Mayfield. You talk about him last year and you talk about him this year. It's very different because now everything is running around him, so he can actually operate that offense. So let's talk about guys like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. Why are these guys still having success? Number one, you look at Tom Brady coming into Tampa. I'm not surprised. And look, maybe they're not off to the same start that they have been in years past. We're not talking about maybe any of these guys as top 3 or 4 quarterbacks right now. But I'm sorry, I do think all of these guys have shown me based on their play, they're still elite. In terms of Drew Brees, there isn't anyone I've seen in the NFL that just consistently has such good chemistry with his receivers around him. I watched the game this last week. Drew Brees head-to-head with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, you could see he's got the better arm, but Drew Brees, you could tell he sees the field so much better. And Brees, why he's still having some success, people want to talk about he's not throwing the ball downfield fine, but the guy still wins with his mind, and he has some of the best anticipation from a quarterback I've ever seen it. And anticipation is probably, to me, the number one reason why Phillip Rivers is just having the success he's had. I watched his game last week. I don't think I saw any quarterback the other week that just had such a good feel for where his receivers are going to be. And I've even seen we've seen all these guys still stretch the field. Tom Brady, they're not going to do it every play, but Tom Brady got the ball down in a hurry for a 45-yard pass the other week. Had a big one to Mike Evans and also to Gronkowski, and the first ball got down the field quickly, so he can still sling it. These guys, their arms are not as good as what they used to be, but these guys bring to their teams continuity. Drew Brees and Sean Payton, continuity. Phillip Rivers, just the guy. I mentioned already what he has. It's just great anticipation. And Tom Brady, it's really a lot of the Patriots offense mixed with some things that Bruce Arians wants to do, and now he has it with better wide receivers. So I think, given all that, I'm not surprised these guys are having success. No, maybe it's not what we're used to seeing, but I think as the year goes on, these guys are going to continue to play well. Everyone was really quick to write off Phillip Rivers last year, but based on the tape that I've seen, he is still a very, very good quarterback. So we're gonna bring CJ back on, and CJ, we're gonna talk about a quarterback that got my attention this week. There was definitely some good, and there was definitely some bad, and that was Broncos QB Brett Rypien. So we're gonna show the tape, just his throws here, and then we'll talk about it. So,
All right.
And let me know if you can't hear.
Defensive minds in all of football in this game tonight with him, Greg Williams. Here's one complete. Nice throw to Patrick. 7 and 8. Pressure. Fant breaks 2 tackles and takes it to the 15. It's unfortunate. 2nd and 10 now. Passes over the middle and caught by Van Ness. He wants him to be a force, much like Aaron Donald is. Penalty moves the ball into Jets territory. Rypien's going to air it out downfield. One-on-one coverage, and this one is caught. And backing into the end zone is Jerry Jeudy with his first touchdown catch in his rookie season. With that, here in the early going of this season. Here's a blitz. Rypien throws down the sideline and dropped in a beauty to Patrick. Great throw by Brett Rypien. They need guys like that in the middle, him and Quinnen Williams. Pass is caught by Fant. Second catch of the ball game. 3rd down and 4. Rypien fires, pass complete out of the backfield. Freeman for the first down. 1/2 yards of carry, so he's had a lot of bodies trying to navigate running the football. With the rain falling, just drizzling. Everybody really likes it. Some just throw it better than others, and Brady doesn't like it either. Here's one caught by Jeudy to the 21. Has been drafted from Boise State. He was hoping to be the first. Pass is caught by Fant. First down, Denver. Pass to the end zone. Patrick, touchdown. What a throw. 2nd down and 13. Here's Patrick trying to make a move. Hewitt stood him up. Extra men on the rush. Rypien throws. He's got Patrick. Another grab. Tim Patrick is happy.
And we did not get to the bad throws. I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick, because we definitely do want to show that. And let's see if we can find it here.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just go to YouTube and type in Broncos.
Ooh, that was very good, actually, though. It was very good.
Yeah, let's.
Patrick. Touchdown.
Watch the rest of this game.
I want to show you something that is.
And of course, we have an ad.
Stupid on my phone, and it reminds me. I'll show you in just a second, but it reminds me of 10 years ago.
All right, we'll watch the rest of that.
Lateral throws I've seen.
We'll watch Sam Darnold too.
3rd down is coming up yet again. Darnold so far is at 5.2 yards per attempt in this game. Here's one complete to Crowder. And he's got a first down, much needed for the Jets. For Sam Darnold in this offense. Quick setup and throw. That's Smith. He's been busy. He's got 9. 180. Blitz from down. Darnold is sacked. Back near the 41 by Josie Jewell. Chubb has his first sack of the year, and now Josie Jewell has his. Punt by Braden Mann. Return from the 15-yard line. Some room now for Spencer. The punter to beat, and the punter brings him down. Braden Mann saved a touchdown, most likely. From the 43, facing a 3rd down and 9. Pass is juggled, caught. Patrick reached for the first down. He comes up short. It's no fumble.
They hang in there. They complete the pass to make this an easier attempt. It would have been 61.
Field goal try here is good from 54.
It's fun to watch. It's a perfect storm in Kansas City right now with the right trigger man, the right skilled players, and the right play caller.
Darnold airs it out for Crowder, and the catch is made. Right around Kareem Jackson. Crowder.
I'm sure excited to get him back. I mean, you think about it, playing quarterback, you're down with your top 3 wide receivers.
Pass is caught.
How'd you do that?
Where's going to go? From the 29. Gore. Nice run. 180. Extra men on the rush, 3rd down and 4. Darnold falls down.
Don't want to forget that one.
Down sack by Chubb as Darnold tripped himself on a 54-yard try by Ficken. And Ficken bails him out. He throws and picked. That is Desir. Down the sideline and in for the touchdown. Their first try of the year. Darnold out to his right. And it is knocked away. Broncos stay on top by 2 as it was tipped by Johnson.
They miss a lot when he's not on the field.
2nd down and 8. Ripken throws and he's picked again.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's tough to evaluate because I'll tell you the notes that I took just watching him, especially on his first start. Now let's also remember, let's look at this in context. It was wet there.
Yeah.
For those of you that have never thrown a wet football, it is, and I don't care whatever you got on it.
It's tough.
It's tough. It is. So not even though he's not an overly mobile guy, the one thing I noticed early on is he had guys in his face and he was still making the check down throw, making the right read. So you could see initially he was still poised when the blitz was coming right at him. A lot of those throws, especially, some of those sideline throws, just great accuracy, but also just great anticipation, just in terms of where the receiver would be. And he did that a couple of times. When you see him go through his progressions, you see, unlike Daniel Jones, who I was talking about, he wasn't locked on. He'd go here, he'd go there, and then he'd come back. And to me, that tells me something when you have a young guy that was going through his progressions as well as he was early. Obviously, he was accurate. He was also making the right read. So when he should have checked down, he checked down. But also you could see he was confident in himself and he trusted himself and his arm. You saw that a few times, especially on the touchdown pass to I think 81. That was, I'm trying to remember who it was, Jordan. So there's a lot to like about him, but at the same time, you look at those last 2 throws, and those are about as inexcusable a football throw as you can have an NFL quarterback make. Just completely inexcusable. If not for those 2 throws, we would just be sitting here talking about this guy might be an NFL starter. But maybe we're getting too ahead of ourselves. What do you make of the tape that you saw there, CJ?
Well, Brett Rippon, what I've noticed from watching the game on Thursday and then rewatching the tape is, you can see that this kid has a lot of potential. One thing that I've noticed is how quickly he can go through his progressions. Even, how, the offensive line was able to hold up a little bit, but then as you see that it's crumbled down, he has so much poise and he didn't fold under pressure. He still got the ball out. And, that right there is just pretty much all that a coach needs to see to know where they can take a young quarterback like Brett Rippon. Another thing is he has somewhat of an arm. He knows how to get the ball out. He knows how to find the receiver. And that's one of the main tools that you just need from a quarterback that, you know, a lot of young quarterbacks his age and, you know, just coming in, tend to have a struggle with. You know, the interceptions that he threw are inexcusable, but, you know, then, you know, it comes to think of it, you know, he's still a rookie, you know, he's going to learn from them, you know, and again, like you said, it's wet out there, you know, so, you know, those things are going to happen. It's just all about not making it, you know, not making it as an often thing. So I like what I've seen. Like I said, you just got to be consistent with it. You know, you gotta take away those interceptions and make those into, you know, touchdowns or forward progression. You know, so you know, Brett Rippon, you know, that's pretty much what I got from the highlight tape and from what I seen Thursday. Maybe I'm not sure what's the status on Drew Lock and Jeff Driscoll, but I guess. I don't know. Maybe if he's the starter next week, I don't know. Have you heard any word from that?
Not sure, not sure yet on that, but we'll, you know, I mean, right now, I mean, this is gonna be Drew Lock's job. I think he's shown me that he can play. Just, you know, like a lot of these guys, you know, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, you know, some of them need different things. Some of them just need more time to develop. Some of them need protection. But you know. But yeah, no, I think hopefully he'll be back soon. Well, that's going to wrap up everything we have for today. So thank you for joining us on the Pro Football Scouting Show. Tonight we will be having Scouting Giants. You can check us back here at 10 Eastern Time. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Everyone have a good evening.